49th, right? Yeah.
Is it? Wait, is it 49?
Yeah, 49. Yeah. Oh shit, we have to figure out how we're gonna get what we're gonna do for 50.
It's literally next week.
Where was that movie?
Was it on Amazon?
Was it on Amazon?
It was on Amazon.
I'll have to look.
This is going to be an interesting tease. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
I'm not putting this in. This is getting cut out. Oh, actually, it's good. I'll leave it in. Hello and welcome back to the 49th episode of Good, Bad, or Bad Bad. Show we watch terrible movies, tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilgo. The other host sitting right there, Mr. Kyle Henton. We're one away from the big 5-0. Whoever thought we'd make it this far.
5 from the camera's perspective, but
no, from your camera's perspective. If you're reading left to right, 5-0.
Oh, right. I don't know how cameras work. I don't know how cameras work. I'm an expert.
So yeah, we'll see if we have anything special for that. Probably not, but maybe. But who knows? We'll see. Anyways, on today's episode, continuing Year of the Fan, recommended by one person. We had another one. We had a slight change of plans last minute because we had another movie we were going to do. I won't say what it is, but there were some issues with being able to watch it that caused us not to be able to watch it. And that movie was recommended by at least 5 or 6 people at this point, if not more. We will do it. We will get to it. Yes. It's just we had a last minute issue and we had to pull a quick one. And so went through the comments, found this. Anyone was like, what movies are on YouTube? Found one, College Kickboxers / Trained to Fight. That's the name.
All right.
Are both titles of this film. The thing that appealed to me most about it, as I was madly scrambling this morning trying to find a movie, is that I looked at it and I was like, this looks almost identical to High Kicks, which is one of the favorite movies we've ever done.
They both take place in the early 90s.
This is like 92 and High Kicks is 93.
Yes. And they also both take place in Southern California.
Yes. Even down to the fucking beach. I'm pretty sure they shot on the exact same beach as High Kicks.
Beach with Billy and the
rocks.
The swords
and
stuff.
With that big rock cliff. Pretty sure that is the same beach in this film. So, College Kickboxers. I love the title. It's definitely one of those titles that they were like getting ready to go to lunch and they like had written it down on the script, just College Kickboxers, and they were going to get back to it. And then they all got like drunk or stoned or high and they were like, oh shit, we got to print. I guess we're going with College Kickboxers.
It's close enough. Let's go with it. Go with it.
That's what the movie's about.
The treatment's doing like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. But they also have this alternate title, Train to Fight, which is no more creative, or no more interesting.
Which, by the way, ironically in this film, that's the opposite premise.
He's doing it.
Who?
Wayne, he's teaching me. I just had my first lesson today.
No way.
Now listen, I promised him I wouldn't fight for money.
Kind of, yeah. It's training him when not to fight, basically, because he starts out as a fighter. Like, he starts out knowing kung fu or whatever. So this is a fun movie. The opening scene, soft top Jeep and bad early 90s rock.
Oh my God.
We're in for a treat.
Yes.
The clothes, once again.
The hair?
The hair. I love our main character. So our main character's name is James Caulfield.
James Caulfield. Hey, you'll be rooming with Mark Brown. Good luck.
I was like, man, what is it with us? And although that was the actor's name, Maxwell Caulfield from Grease 2 is not his character's name.
Dolce & Gabbana, the one, the new fragrance for men.
And then he shows up to university, meets his roommate. Mark Brown?
Was it Middlebrook State or something like that?
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to what university.
Yeah, it was like some college. I'm pretty sure doesn't exist. It might.
Probably not. Who knows? Yeah, it could be some small university in Southern California. But he shows up and meets his roommate Mark Brown, and they have a great first meeting.
I'm James Caulfield. Your roommate?
You a freshman?
Yeah.
Great.
It's okay. So is Mark Brown actually, is his major accounting? Is it actually accounting?
I guess that's what he says, and he doesn't say no. He like yells at him about asking too many questions.
You a number cruncher?
A what?
An accounting major.
I love how they have the actual electronic typewriter up there.
Yeah.
Can't make mistakes on that.
No, he's like, are you a numbers guy or something like that? And he goes, I'm not interested in giving you my life history.
I'm not interested in giving you my life history. I am interested in graduating. So why don't you just shut up so I can study?
And I love it. They're both terrible actors.
Oh, yes.
They are both really
Holy
bad.
crap.
Especially Mark Brown
Yes.
is really bad.
You can tell he is like putting on a front and it is slipping hard.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me, Caulfield. I'll kick your ass in 5 seconds flat.
Well, you said early, didn't you?
Oh, man.
Geez, I guess I'm just not used to college life.
That's it. You think you're some kind of hotshot kung fu artist? Great. Now's your time to prove it.
He is not a good actor. He's also wearing a delightful outfit in this in this scene of a cutoff shirt and these like insane 90s like Zumbas. Were they called Zumbas or something? There are these 90s pants that are like the most insane patterned baggy things.
Oh man,
he looks incredible.
It reminds me of those mint green and like neon pink like zigzag patterns that just make you want to vomit.
Yeah, just vomited 90s all over him. So they have a very tense first meeting, and we find out that well, he's like, you want to? I'll beat you up or something.
Yeah, it sounds like you're wanting to fight.
Yeah.
I'll kick your ass in 5 seconds flat.
Oh, really? And just how you gonna do that?
It's amazing because then the camera goes to a bunch of like karate trophies or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like martial art. He's like kung fu, karate, whatever. All these different trophies.
And then James, in the greatest scene ever,
I love this so much.
Walks up, unzips his backpack, and starts pulling out his accreditations of kung fu.
Taekwondo. Tangsudo. Kempo. Hapkido. Jiu-jitsu.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power.
And he puts one on each one of his trophies like, oh, well, I also know kung fu. My favorite thing about it is he's moving in to his college dorm, and he brought all of his...
Well, he's got to prove he's a badass or something.
When I graduated high school, when I moved into college, I didn't bring all my baseball trophies with me because I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, I was like, that is the weirdest thing.
Who's going to care?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's so stupid. But James Caulfield, my favorite thing about him is how much he looks like our main character from High Kicks, but just like he hasn't matured into his final form yet.
which is completely mullet extension.
Yeah. So in High Kicks, if you remember, he's blonde and he's got the mullet. But this guy has the very similar, like feathered, fluffy hair.
This is him pre-natives.
One time I sailed into a port where the natives weren't very friendly.
This is the origin story. He goes on a sabbatical or a spring break.
Yes, to whatever weird
island he goes to.
Yes, and they weren't so friendly.
This is the pre-origin story. I like that a lot. Oh, and then he grows his hair out like Samson.
3 vows were bestowed upon me. No wine, no touching the dead, no cutting of my hair.
So, but he has a very similar type of like coif and flow to his hair. It's just doesn't have the mulletness to it. And he wears a lot of similar clothes, a lot of denim.
I'm not gonna lie, his hair honestly, for the most part, looks like it's modeled off of Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. Love this guy. So then the next morning he goes, that night he goes, do you jog? Because they're going to like go work out the next morning together. And so our James Caulfield sets his alarm really early and goes out early. And then what's his name alarm? Mark's alarm goes off. And he looks out the window and sees our guy already out there stretching. Because it's like 5 a.m. And he does this amazing angry point at him out the window. Because the guy...
And he almost knocks over his trophies.
Yeah, he's like... like, all right, I'm on board with this. But then he gets outside and he goes to the guy. He goes,
What the hell you think you're doing setting that alarm? Damn near took my head off.
it almost took my head off. And I was like, wait a second. What does that mean? It's an alarm. What? It almost took your fucking head off?
This is when they start. This is basically when they start sparring.
Yeah, they're like, let's do it. Let's see what you got. Show me your kung fu.
Let's go see what you got. Let's go.
And I also in this moment was like, if these guys don't end up fucking by the end of this movie, I will be incredibly disappointed because their setup and their romance here early feels real right, and then it goes a different direction. So yeah, they start sparring and they're like testing out their skills on each other. And then this is when we're introduced to the White Tigers.
Oh, God.
Bad guys.
Okay, so the White Tigers come in and they look like they're straight out of hair metal.
Yes, they are all wearing black in every scene. But they're all wearing their own version of insane, like, over-the-top arch clothing, where, like, our main guy, Tanner, has the fishnet shirt from fucking, Stabilizers.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got the mesh see-through shirt and, like, crazy earrings. And then there's a guy that has a beret on. Got a fucking beret on.
By the way, they're called the White Tigers. There's one guy with a bandana who looks exactly like Tommy from the Power Rangers. Yeah. Who? What does he pilot? The White Tiger.
Put that together. What year did fucking Power Rangers?
Power Rangers was, I want to say 95 when it started,
or a little later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Maybe it is him. And when he got on to Power Rangers, well, no, they already had it all shot from Japan or whatever. Never mind. That wouldn't make sense. I think he went to the meetings and he was like, "You guys, my animal could be a white tiger." I'm already in that character's headspace. But they reminded me so much of the gang from High Kicks, just with that, like, where they're all like,
they just don't have their own introductions.
Yeah, they don't do the A, O, A. They also don't rape anybody, which is nice for a change in these movies that we watch.
It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword! Mastodon!
Pterodactyl!
Triceratops! Go!
Rapists. Their crime isn't rape, it's racism.
It's like, how do we know they're bad guys? Oh.
Immediately drops the N-word.
Way to go. Whip that ass.
I love, too, throughout the movie, it's like somebody made a list of every racial slur for black people, and they went down a checklist, because he never uses the same one twice. Yes. Every scene is a different one.
Are you still friends with that jungle monkey? Not to make friends with porch monkeys.
Like, the only thing I could go through my head was that scene from Clerks 2.
Yeah. I haven't seen Clerks 2. I've seen Clerks 1. I like Clerks 1. Kyla has never seen Clerks 2.
Like we're a couple of fucking porch monkeys.
Randall! I'm sorry. He
didn't really just say what I think he said.
What? Porch monkeys?
Randall!
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm filming an episode right now, but I'll be on in a bit. That was of my fans. I run a sex webcam on the side, and they're waiting for me. So we got to wrap this. Okay, chatterbait.com/Brian_GBorBB. Oh, I want people to go there and be really disappointed. So they just kind of yell at each other and then like split up. Nothing really. I don't even think they fight at this point. But then we meet the girl. We meet the love interest.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I love all of her scenes.
It's the early '90s and you're in a Southern California campus. What are the students doing?
Saving the Earth.
Yes. It is Captain Planet-esque.
Yeah. I'm chairperson for the Students for a Cleaner Environment, and we have a meeting after class. We're recruiting people for our environmental group. You want to join?
Saving the Earth.
My
stuff.
favorite scene of that is later in the movie with the teacher or the professor or whatever.
Oh, and the caveman?
It reminds me with the Neanderthal. This movie, it reminds me so much of, I mean, I am about as hippie save the earth as it gets, but it is so shoehorned and like poorly written in this. It is like, it reminds me, have you seen Birdemic, Shock and Terror?
Yeah.
It's like the scenes in that where like the scientist is like, we must stop destroying the earth.
And didn't litter up his landscape with a lot of toxic waste or non-biodegradable trash. Take a good look at this fellow. We may all end up like him again, especially if we don't clean up the ozone layer.
With our pollution. It's so fucking bad.
And here's the thing. All the stuff they talk about, none of it has to do with like, all it is let's mobilize for activism.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do? Next scene.
Yeah, no,
next scene.
Yeah. I love that's what I wrote about her character too. I'm like, yeah, you're really gonna save the world by being a really annoying, self-righteous asshole to everybody, because that's all she does.
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter to you if we pollute our planet to the point where we obliterate all forms of life, including our own.
Is every time she talks to him, now to be fair, he's a jerk too. He's like, what's up? Oh, you're so hot. Like, that's all he does, like, for the first half of this movie.
But I don't have to sit here and be ogled.
I am not ogling. I'm admiring.
He just like fucking drools all over anytime he's within 10 feet of her. And so like I understand why she's put off by him. But every time she talks to him, she's just like, what are you doing to save the world right now? Why aren't you saving whales right now? And he's like, I'm in class? I don't know.
We'll all come to realize that the earth does not belong to man, but rather man belongs to the earth.
So we need her, and they're Rocky started their relationship because he's real cocky. That's kind of his character flaw that he has to overcome, is that he's too cocky.
All right, tough guy. Outside.
Yeah, and it's like we have every amazing 80s/early 90s plot point right now. Racist bad guys racist bad guy gang. Karate school is getting closed because it's been bought out by a mini mall.
Only thing is, the owner sold out last month. They're tearing it all down to build some kind of mini mall condo complex or something. It's too bad.
Yes, what?
And there is a tournament in 2 weeks with the exact amount of money they need to rebuild the school.
First, there's a tournament coming to town. It's open to all competitors. Grand champion will receive $25,000. So of course, I'll be entering myself.
This is literally that episode of South Park where they make fun of all 80s movies.
Yeah, I know. It's so perfect. I was like, oh, they're like, the school's getting torn down 5 seconds later. Also, for no reason that matters, there's a tournament in a week and we can get $25,000.
Look, guys, we never got along in school, but right now we need to come together and save our community center.
It's so amazing.
Play the montage song.
Oh boy, do they need a few montage songs in this one, because there are quite a few montages. Immediately they get to the dojo. So Mark is the head teacher at his own like dojo, karate school basically, and like we said, it's closing. But I love they've known each other for a day.
Yes.
And he just immediately Caulfield immediately starts teaching a class. He just walks in and he's like, we're gonna do kicks today, kids.
Okay, today we're going to be working on kicking combinations. The first one we're going to work on is low round kick going to the leg.
And I'm like, what if they're not on kicks yet? What if they're only still doing punches? He just takes over the class. But yeah, so then he gets a job. Mark's like, I can help you get a job so you can pay for, I don't know, school.
College shit.
Yeah, whatever. And he gets him a job at a Chinese restaurant. I don't remember what it's called, but Chinese restaurant.
Brian, it's a Kung Fu movie. We have Chinese people. What do they all know?
Kung Fu.
Of course they do.
And how to cook amazing Chinese food.
Yes.
But we're about to meet my favorite character in this whole movie, which is Sifu Wing. I believe that's how you say it.
Call me Sifu. Sifu Wing.
I believe it was it Sifu Wang? Sifu Wing. I think so. Those are my neighbors. There's like 8 of them that live up there. That's the third neighbors in like...
Holy shit.
It's our third set of upstairs neighbors in like 12 months because they keep getting evicted for doing drugs.
I am high. Julian?
So yeah, we meet him, but Kimberly shows up at the restaurant, and he's hitting on her again. Caulfield is, and while he's hitting on her,
I love this line.
I don't remember what line.
No, not that line. Whenever he gets pulled away.
Yeah. So then Sifu comes out, who's the head chef or whatever, works in the kitchen. Comes out and pulls him away.
It's like, hey man, I was trying to score.
Yeah.
Just what in hell do you think you were doing out there? I was trying to score.
He goes back. It's his first day on the job. The head chef of the restaurant says, hey, stop flirting with people, start working. And he goes back and starts yelling at the head chef about how dare you cock block me. I'm like, you're going to get fired in like 6 hours on the job. I was trying to score.
Well, I can't remember the line the guy said. It's like, you're not getting anybody anyway. You're not scoring.
You think they all like football game? Wrong, macho man.
Butt out, buddy. My personal life is none of your business.
Talk big, but your mouth stink.
Yeah.
Basically, like,
Sifu, so this is Sifu Wing, and he is incredible. I wanted a whole movie about him. He is this portly little man.
It might as well be this guy's movie.
Yeah, it really is. He's like the main. He's basically so the premise is kind of like a Karate Kid type thing where our main guy, even though he already knows a bunch of karate and kung fu, he's unrefined and he's too aggressive and so he's got to learn patience and respect.
Yeah, this is like Fatal Deviation. This is the monk, basically.
Yeah, he's the monk. Yeah, how dare you? This is a much better film than Fatal. It actually makes sense. All of the elements make sense where they are, at least to some extent, other than the fact that Sifu Wing is magic. But we'll get to that point.
Isn't there a point where Tanner shows up?
Oh, it's at the restaurant. Tanner's just at the restaurant, I think. And he shows up and he has one of my favorite lines. So they're like going back and forth. And Tanner says, you're a pretty good fighter. And he goes, I could really use somebody like you on our squad.
Oh, you're good, pretty boy. But I'm better. We could use a guy in the Tigers just like you.
And Caulfield goes, I wouldn't join up with you if you were the last person on Earth. And Tanner says, as far as you're concerned, I am.
Join your slime if you're the last people on Earth. As far as you're concerned, I am.
And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
No other person can be so full of himself. That's amazing. I love that.
It's such a stupid line, but I love the guy playing Tanner. It's something Tanner.
Insanely over the top.
Oh, he fucking went so hard at it, and he nailed it. I actually love him in this movie.
Why don't you just go back into whatever hole you climbed out of? I will, Jamie. I will. But think about this. I'm better. Drop him, boys.
He was in 2 movies. He was in like a softcore porn and then this. The softcore porn is called like Body Chemistry or something like that from like the late 80s.
The best sex is when it's the purest. When it's just sex.
Body Chemistry. An erotic journey into the sexual danger zone.
I was clicking through all these people's IMDb's.
That's where he got the shirt. Yeah. That was what he took from set.
Yeah. So then him and Kimberly are talking, and I don't remember the context of this, but I just love the line. Is he goes,
so where'd you disappear to last night?
And she goes, I don't like fights. And he goes, yeah, well, I don't like bigots.
I don't like fights.
I don't like bigots.
And she's like, well, we agree on something.
Well, we finally have something in common.
I love this. You know what they need? They need Steven Seagal to show up and punch the racism out of these guys.
Yes. What does it take to change the essence of a man?
What does it take to change the essence of a man?
I need time to change.
Punch him real fucking hard in the face. Oh, okay. So you need to explain this scene to me.
Okay.
I did not understand what was going on here. So while he's talking to her, it's the same scene. He's like asking her out again.
Then maybe we can discuss it over dinner tonight.
And she says, and I want to describe what he's wearing in this scene. He's wearing like sweatpants of some sort and a cutoff white shirt that has like a number 13 on it, like a football practice jersey.
I can't explain that.
he goes, come on, go out with me. She goes, I don't date jocks.
I don't date jocks.
And then he says, do I look like a jock? And I thought it was supposed to be a joke line, like a laugh line, because she goes, no.
Do I look like a jock?
No. There's a test coming up in ecosystems. I could use a study partner if you're serious.
Your place or mine?
And I'm like, he looks exactly like a jock.
He is completely ripped. What are you talking about?
Jacked to shit. He's wearing sweatpants and a cut-off sports jersey. Like, what the fuck do you mean no? And then it cuts to them going out or like hanging out at the library. I was so confused by that scene because until she says no, I'm like, it's a joke. It's not that funny, but it's a joke. And then she's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm okay, sure.
Why don't you just go save a whale?
Okay, this is outside the restaurant that night, and Tanner shows up with his gang to teach Caulfield a lesson.
What is that lesson? I don't know.
Don't hang out with black people.
This is how we treat coon lovers in this town.
Don't move, pretty boy.
So they all have like fucking ski masks on and baseball bats.
Except for Tanner.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's got to show his face.
You got to see all that acting he's
got to see
doing.
that mullet.
He can't act. You can't constrain all of that pure actor underneath a fucking.
We just
mask.
need a complete montage of all of his like maniacal smiles.
Yes. They start fighting. He gets his ass kicked because there's like 10 of them or whatever, and they have weapons. And then Sifu Wing comes out of the Chinese restaurant,
and of course, since hey, look, it's an ethnicity of some sort.
Stay out of this, China man. We just want to see if the pretty boy here can crawl.
Let's be us.
Yeah. He tells him to crawl. Tells him to crawl around, and the guy. So he does. And at this moment, we know nothing about this character. We've met him once for like 5 seconds. I mean, we can kind of see where this is going probably, but we don't know anything about him. So he starts crawling around. He goes like, oh, okay, and he starts crawling around on the floor. And then he crawls in between one of the guy's legs.
And he is thrown through a fence.
Yes, it is amazing. Oh, and then he starts, just beats the shit out of all these guys. I looked it up, and he's actually like a stunt performer. He's been in like a fair number of like Jackie Chan movies as a stunt performer and stuff like that. So he's the real deal, at least to some extent. Unlike I think probably most of the other people in this movie. But he starts beating all these dudes up, and then out of nowhere, again, I was like, "What is this? This has been a real movie until this point."
Oh, is it the gun?
Yeah. What? He
picks up a gun. Brian can't talk right now, so I'll explain this. He picks up a gun that they had, that one of them had a gun.
Yeah.
He picks it up and says, you want this? And shoves it into a tree. Doesn't just shove it, he embeds it into a tree.
You want the ticket?
With his bare fucking hand, he embeds a gun into the side of a tree. I don't know if I'm describing this we're describing this properly. He takes it and goes, and it's like if you smushed like your face. Oh, like you know those magic the metal things with the needles where you can push stuff into them and they like make a design.
Yes.
It does that with a metal gun into a oak tree. And I was like, wait.
Yeah, it would have blown my mind if they would have had a callback to that or something like that, where they walk by it and it's still there.
That would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. But I was like, oh, so we're doing magic powers now? Like, what is that? That is not a thing a person can do. So we find out Sifu Wing is
a kung fu master.
Yeah. Yes. We eventually get a flashback where we just see him fighting random people in China.
Random people.
I don't know if it was in China. Maybe it was in America. I don't know. But it's just like a random flashback of him beating the shit out of all these people. I think he kills one of them because he throws them through the car window and their body is just there for the rest of the scene. I was like, good for you, dude. Our guy's like, you gotta train me. You gotta train us. You gotta train me and Mark.
Also, James his leg is injured at this point.
Oh yeah. His leg and his neck, I guess, or something.
He basically takes his leg and pops it
back into its socket.
And then he just punches it on his chin.
Yeah, he's like,
oh.
And he's like,
okay, I'm fine now.
I'm good.
Now, you try walk.
And that's a thing for later. I'm glad you mentioned that because that comes back in a glorious way later in the film.
Wing saved me.
Wing? That pudgy Chinese chef?
He's a master's master, Mark.
So he goes to his house and he pulls up in front of Wing's house. He drives up on the curb and parks. And I was like sitting there, I'm like, nice parking job, idiot. And then he gets out and Wing goes,
your parking looks so good. No, but I'm damn good at learning martial arts.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, it's kind of the whole point of his character is being a jackass.
Right. Yeah, and he figures it out instantly. Like he has this moment of clarity about himself. Caulfield does. He walks up to Wing and he's like,
You don't understand.
I do understand. It's the only thing that keeps me together. You were right about me, Wing. I've been a macho man with my martial arts trying to impress people. I guess I'm just trying to make up for other things.
Moral.
Yeah, he just says it all. Like he just figures it all out in the first act.
Moral of the film.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like, I've been using kung fu to impress people because I'm wildly insecure. Thanks. Just say all that.
Unlike us, who uses this show to impress people because we are wildly insecure.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have the slightest idea. Please love me. Please love me. So important.
I'm tired of crying myself to sleep at night. Make me feel something.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So then, but he goes Project Mayhem on Caulfield.
Yes. Holy shit.
He makes him sit out on his porch all night.
You wait here for me. I think tonight.
Really? No promise. Just think. Great.
And then they just keep waiting.
And I love the cooler he brings with him. He writes patience in
on
it.
The cooler.
Take all the time you need. I have plenty of patience.
Fucking okay. Yeah, so he just makes him wait for like a couple days, and the guy's like, I get it. I gotta be patient. I understand. And then so he finally teaches him. Yeah, he finally starts to teach him, so they go learn to how to do kicks.
Like in movies, not practical.
And they start doing some kicks in the forest or in the park. And I love the scene because he's like, all the power comes from the waist. We'll do some exercises so to increase your waist strength.
Yeah. What do you feel?
I definitely feel the power.
Your waist is your foundation. I teach you how to build up more power in your waist.
Which and the way Sifu Wing is built, he has a lot of power because he is a portly. He's built like a barrel. Like he is a very short, but like built man.
He has a low center of gravity.
Yeah. It's like Jack Black if he was a kung fu master.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh shit, that's right. He was a kung fu master. I forgot about that. So they start doing these little exercises, and Caulfield looks completely lost. He looks like an idiot, like jumping around, kicking his legs in the air. It's pretty delightful.
2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, go.
The most brutal one I saw was the ice hockey one.
So
where I was like, you're gonna fall and bust your ass constantly.
That's amazing is they actually do it. At least it looks like it. So they go to an ice rink and he's like, to practice balance, you do your katas or whatever on ice, barefoot on ice. Because it's hard to, maintain your balance. And he tries it and falls immediately. And then what's his name does it? Sifu Wing does it. And you can tell they are on ice because his feet are slipping and sliding a little bit, but he's able to still do the whole routine. And then they start doing it, and I was like, you know what, movie? You could have bullshitted. You could have just done it on a white surface that looked like ice.
I think it probably took them at least a couple of tries.
Oh, yeah. No, there was a handful of tries where they were like, oh shit, busted a hip open or something. Oh, and he drops this. Sifu Wing drops some truth bombs throughout this movie, but this is one of my favorite. And it's on the ice. He goes, Caulfield falls over and is like, this is impossible or this is hard or something. And Sifu goes,
you want it easy? Movie is easy. This is life. Slippery. Cruel. Hard.
Life is hard.
Yeah, life is hard. And I was like, God damn, you're so right, Sifu. So he goes back. So Mark, he won't train Mark, but Mark's going to fight in the tournament. But Caulfield told Sifu he won't fight for money or whatever. So, but he's going to teach Mark everything Sifu's teaching him so Mark can win the tournament.
That's kind of missing the point.
Yeah, I was like, you're really missing the point of the lesson here, dude. But okay.
I promised him I wouldn't fight for money. But he didn't say anything about teaching you.
Yeah! Yes! Yes! Because he's like, technically, he didn't say I couldn't teach you. Right. So, but the things he is teaching, again, both of these people have like a dozen like kung fu certificates or what, of like all these things they've trained. And then when he goes to show Mark stuff, he's showing him like basic kicks.
First lesson, what you're gonna do is give me a punch, then a front kick.
And I'm like, I think he would know, like they're sparring with each other and he's like, watch this, try to kick me. And Mark kicks at him and he moves and grabs his leg and throws him on the ground. And I'm like,
yep,
that is pretty basic stuff.
Yep.
I took judo for 2 years in elementary school and I could do that. Then there's that stupid thing in the hole on the beach. I don't understand. He puts him in a hole and he's like, jump out.
Jump in and jump out.
It's like, yeah, this is no problem. Here's a board literally on your toes.
Yeah, it looks like it would be on your toes. And he's like, and now jump. And the guy's like, I can't. And he's like, I'll come back in 3 days. And then leaves him there.
You try hard. I'll come back later.
Hey, wait a minute. This is impossible. Who do you think I am, Superman?
But then our Sifu does it. He just like levitates out of the hole like magic. He doesn't. I don't understand how. It doesn't matter.
In Kung Fu, nothing is impossible.
So this is the scene. We go back to school randomly for like 5 minutes, and it's just for the scene. And we talked about it a little, but I got to talk about it a little more. Where the professor, I assume this is a history class.
Ecosystems?
It's ecosystems.
Archaeology class or something like that.
But they have a cutout basically of a Neanderthal.
Yeah, and he goes, this is Neanderthal.
They lived very cleanly. Bullshit. They were eating raw meat.
Well, he means they didn't pollute a lot in the sense of
they were eating so cleanly their life expectancy was 35.
Yeah. No, he's talking more about
I know environmentally, but it's like the cost benefit is double life expectancy.
Yeah. You know what's pretty great? Filtered water.
Yes.
You know what else pretty great? Toothpaste. Like all of them died from their teeth by the time they were 40. But yeah. But his whole, and it's so ham-fisted where he's just like, Neanderthals, they didn't pollute.
Now we come to the Neanderthal man, who was one of our ancient predecessors. While the Neanderthal may not have been the brightest of fellows, at least he lived in harmony with the earth.
Because they were stupid, but also they didn't pollute. And it's just like, what class are we in right now? You're like, you're teaching us about Neanderthal, and you spent 20 minutes about like, let's not pollute. I'm like, I get it. I'm on board, but like, what are we doing? What am I learning here?
But then James walks in, and he's like directly posed as the Neanderthal. And that's the joke.
Oh, yeah. And then, so Tanner is in the restaurant again after he's playing the slapping game, and he goes out, and Tanner trips him, and he, like, falls a little bit. And the owner of the restaurant walks out and goes,
oh, no, what happened?
And I was like, what? Nothing. He didn't even drop anything.
No.
He's just kind of stumbled a little bit.
Sorry, it looks like your busboy's a little clumsy.
Yeah.
Well, it seems your boy here is a bit of a klutz. Be more careful, James.
So there's this great moment where Sifu is training at night and he's doing all these badass katas, and this is when he has the flashback.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently, I guess Caulfield was late getting there.
Yeah, supposed to meet him or something like that?
He does eventually show up. I guess he was just late. But there's this great moment where he's doing all this stuff and he's doing all these cool kicks in the ground and like kicking up dirt. And then a camera pulls back to a wide shot and this motherfucker drew a yin-yang, like a 30-foot yin-yang in the earth through his kata forms or whatever. It's incredible. I love Sifu. He's amazing.
I believe it's the next day, like he goes up to Sifu and's like, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
And Sifu's like,
broke promise. I no chin.
Dude, you taught him patience? Don't get on to him about being punctual, all right?
Yeah. And then, so he has this great moment where they do that same thing he does. Okay, take the weights off your ankles, because he's been wearing weights for like a week and a half or something. And he ties a stick to a string and makes him kick it until it breaks.
Yeah. No, it's totally Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, is that
or Dragon Ball, whatever it is. They all have weighted clothes in this show.
All right, stop your mumbling. I've heard enough of this trash.
Huh? Piccolo! I didn't know that you trained with weighted clothing.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Oh, but I was like, I feel like that's impossible. To kick a stick tied to a string and break it with your foot. Maybe not, but I was like, we could have an idea for a new series, Kyle. It's Good, Better, Bad, Bad, Mythbusters.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Brian Shulago. We all know you're gonna bend the hoses, bend the hoses. And Kyle Hinton.
I know Aerobics.
Where we go do all the stupidest things. I want to see both of us try to kick a stick in half.
Oh God, I would fall on my ass.
Have to be pretty low to the ground for me to hit it. If you guys think that's a good idea, support us on Patreon, get us to a level, and then maybe we'll do it. Okay, so then we get to Sifu's house, and this is where he learns about acupuncture.
I love this scene. He brings him in there immediately.
It's
He's
amazing.
like, you have to promise me you're not going to tell anybody this. He's like,
I
promise. I promise.
The way this is shot.
Remember this. But you tell no one.
No one.
Okay.
He walks in and he goes up and looks at what is like a little
like charm or a coin or something like that.
Coin, whatever. But he's like, come in here.
I love when they show the shot from outside the room. Sifu opens the door to the room and the camera is panning slowly across or dollying slowly across, and you can barely see in the back of the room this weird mannequin thing, and it's like you said, it's not very well lit, so you can't really see it, and it's like the weird slow-mo way they walk in. I'm like, is this the sex part? Is this where they have sex? Is this it looks like he's like introducing him to like his gimp, like locked in the back room. But yeah, so it's this big mannequin thing with all these pressure points all over it.
And then he's showing him what the pressure points do.
Yeah.
He pops him in the back and makes him laugh uncontrollably.
Can't stop laughing, yeah, it's amazing. And then he like twists his nipples and then he stops or whatever. But he shows them that the one on the neck, there's one on the neck, and that's what he used to heal his broken jaw or whatever. It doesn't matter. But he goes, if you punch him, right in the neck, you can kill. He goes, but what he says is, his specific one, he goes, if you touch it, it can be used to heal, like he did with it earlier in the movie. But if you hit it, you can be used to kill.
Can heal. Can kill.
Fucking Caulfield goes, you're saying I can kill people? And he's like, you'll know, like, he's like, well, I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying, I'm showing you how. But I love, because he goes, it can be used to heal or kill. And Caulfield goes, well, if it can heal or kill, how will I know which one to use?
How do I know which one to use?
And I'm like, probably based on who you're dealing with.
And what situation?
Yeah, I feel like the situation will make it pretty fucking obvious which one you need to do. If your girlfriend is choking, use the heal one. If your enemy is coming at you with a knife, maybe the kill one. I don't know.
So I can use this if someone's trying to kill me.
But only when life is in danger. Swear.
I swear.
Oh, and he uses acupuncture in the best and only way it should ever be used, which is to fucking get laid.
Let's say you got a pain right here. That would mean the energy is stuck.
And what would I have to do to get the energy unstuck?
Stimulate it.
He goes, in the next scene, he's talking to her and he's like, he's telling her about how he's studying acupuncture. And she's like, oh yeah? You're studying acupuncture.
Acupuncture?
That's part of it.
I didn't know you were into that kind of thing.
There's a lot of things you don't know about me.
And she's like getting like just wet as shit over like him studying acupuncture. And I was like, yeah, she really wants him to acupuncture her vagina.
Whoa!
With his penis. Then they go to a carnival.
Okay, this entire
Carnival
scene,
montage.
this whole montage was crazy. By the way, something I noticed throughout this entire montage, she gets less and less clothed as the montage goes on.
Yeah, every scene she's wearing less clothing. It just randomly cuts. She's in a bikini top and pants, and then it cuts and she's just in a full bikini. I'm like, what's happening? And she's also 90s girl hot, where like everything looks way longer than it should. I think it's the clothing, but like maybe it's like the clothing on the torso, but it looks like this section, if you can see, the grundle area is like twice the length of a normal human being.
Please don't stop this.
But it happens all the time in 90s movies, and I'm pretty sure it's just like the weird way clothes were cut back then. But like their legs and their butts and everything just look like they're stretched. I don't know. I don't get it. And then this motherfucker busts out the charcuterie and the red wine, and that's how you know he's gonna seal the deal. Camera pans across the table. He's got a cheese board out, and I'm like, this dude fucks.
Was this when they're in the hot tub?
Yeah, it's the hot tub scene.
This is where we get boobies.
Yes.
For like just a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like this wasn't supposed to be in the movie. She's like under the water and he like makes her jump out to eat a grape and it's like, oops. And I'm like, wait a second, what?
Come get it. Come get it.
But then there's a really awkwardly 80-yard line where she tells him to turn the bubbles off, and then he turns the bubbles off.
Turn off those bubbles.
For a very obvious reason.
Very obvious reason.
They sound.
Oh, yes, for sound, and so we can see your boobs. Because when it's bubbling, we can no longer see your boobs.
Mm-hmm. From a filmmaking standpoint, it's this thing's fucking loud as shit. Turn it off.
Yeah, because they're going to close-ups now, and they need to be able to hear them.
From the I'm going to masturbate perspective, boobs.
Boobs. All right.
Just hang on that for a second.
Yep, I'm gonna let that one simmer in your brain. Okay, this is at the mall. They get to the mall. It's before the big fight, and they're like hanging out with everybody. It's all the people from the dojo, a couple of little kids, Mark, Kimberly, and him are all chilling. And the gang shows up, and and Caulfield goes somewhere, like to get shoes or whatever. And a fight breaks out. And it's really weird because Mark beats the shit out of Tanner and breaks his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait, I thought he was the main bad guy. We're done with him already? There's 20 minutes left, or 15 minutes. Okay, fine. Then a random dude shows up who I swear to God has not been in the movie yet. Who is part of their gang, and his name's like Willie or something, and he's wearing like a medieval leather belt. I don't know what the fuck that was. Like, what the fuck has he got going on?
But apparently
there?
This guy knows how to fight.
He's like they're hard. He's their badass, and he breaks Mark's arm. So now Mark can't fight in the tournament because his arm's broken. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen.
That's it. They are not getting away with this, Mark. Tanner and McCoy are history. God.
So then, so the Mark can't fight, Tanner can't fight, so it's obviously, even though he's told him Sifu Wing he wouldn't fight, Caulfield's gonna fight. So he shows up to fight, and this tournament is so unprofessional.
Yes.
Everybody just beats everybody half to death in like this high school tournament.
There's not even points scored.
No.
It's just beat them until they're down.
Yeah. It's like there's guys pointing like they're scoring it in the background, but they never stop any fights. It's every single fight ends by KO. Every single one.
It's they're down, pick them up,
beat them
in the head. Keep in mind, this was at the university.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like at school, like, and there's like families there and stuff. It's like a fucking.
It's literally
sport.
It's exactly blood sport.
It's amazing. So they all fight a bunch of people, and there's like 4 fights going on at once all the time, and all the different people fight. All the White Tigers fight. Some of them lose, some of them win. We get down to the point where it is Caulfield versus one of the White Tigers. The main guy, the big White Tiger.
Well, no.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's Willie, because there's another guy who we've never seen before.
All right.
In a white gi that it's like some random dojo or whatever, who's been kicking everybody else's ass, and they're all like, "Who is this guy? I don't know. I've never seen him before."
The guy in the white top, he looks dangerous. Do you know who he is?
I've never seen him before.
And that guy wins his. And again, so they set up the bad guy like 4 times in this movie, and then keep knocking them down before the end of the movie. And I'm like, so like you think it's gonna be Tanner, but then he gets his arm broken in the scene before it doesn't even fight. Then you think it's gonna be this big Willie dude, or whatever the fuck his name is, the big guy from White Tigers, but then he just beats him in the semifinals match. And they're like, well, what the fuck? But then it's all for the big fucking twist. And Night Shyamalan got his hands on this one too. Turns out the guy in the white gi is Tanner's brother. And he's also a White Tiger.
Brother.
And now. And hates black people. So he takes off his gi and he puts on a White Tiger one, and then they fight. It's the final throwdown. And it's kind of anticlimactic. They just beat each other up.
Yeah.
Like there's a moment where like he's getting armbarred, our guy's getting armbarred, and he looks over and Sifu Wing is there like. And I was like, oh yeah, he just like walks into the door and does the nod. He's like, sweep the leg. Or in this case, punch the throat or whatever.
But basically he beats them down and wins.
Yeah.
He wins the whole thing. And Tanner can't take this though. He comes at him with a knife.
Yeah. Tanner comes at him with a knife.
And this is where Mark, with his broken hand,
with the broken arm,
yes, punches him out,
knocks him out cold.
There is a scene. At one point in this whole tournament where Mark is like patting James on the back, and part of his cast falls off.
I didn't see that. In the tournament, you said, I'll find that. It's amazing. So you're like, because you think it's over when he beats the guy in the fight. You're like, yay. And then it's like, surprise, Tanner's got a knife and he's coming for you. And then Mark punches him and you're like, hooray.
Yay, it's over.
Surprise! His brother gets up with another knife.
No, with the same knife.
Oh,
the
same
knife fell right by him. But
same knife and comes running at him.
James goes full like,
beats the shit out of him. And then we get a flashback to 10 minutes ago in the movie, in case you fucking forgot, you dum-dums. It's to remind us of the whole neck punchy part. And then he does the thing, and he goes to punch him right in the throat, and he stops right on his head. And the guy's like, ooh.
And then he goes, the hell of it.
What the hell?
Back kick.
Backwards spinning kick knocks him out cold. Movie over, basically.
Yay!
Oh, and then they go to the new studio because they won $25,000, so they buy a new studio and they get there. And I love this. They bring Sifu in because Sifu's leaving, going out of town. I don't know.
Who knows?
Going back to China. I don't know.
Sifu, where are you going?
I'm leaving.
But he gets to the studio or the dojo, and they have him pull this thing off a sign, and the sign in the dojo says Wing and Mark's
something
karate
dojo.
school or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I'm like, well, that was very nice of you to make this guy be a teacher of this school without asking him.
Exactly.
Which is great because what he does is he goes and he grabs like a gold star off the wall, pulls a Sharpie out of his pocket on his arm.
Arm pocket. It's the 90s.
Yeah. And then writes on the star. We don't see what it is. I was really hoping he was going to write like fuck you and then pin it on James's chest and leave. But what he does is, as we find out, he writes James on it. And then Sifu's got a 15-foot vertical. He jumps up and slams it on the wall over Wing so that it says James and Mark's karate school or whatever. And then it legit ends on a fist pump. Not quite freeze frame, but he goes, and then it fades out with him like, yeah. Kyle, I slightly adored this movie. I had so much fun with Sifu Wing and everything else about it that I'm gonna go good bad.
It's a meh bad to me. If I would have got more Tanner, I would totally give it a good bad.
It definitely needed more Tanner. There was a lull in the middle where he disappeared, where we needed some more of him being Tanner. But
so just
I enjoyed it. It's on YouTube. There's a full version that the quality is really shitty and it sounds terrible. And then there's a version that is 6 parts that sounds good and looks better, but you have to watch it through 6 different parts. So go find it yourself if you want to watch it. If not, that's fine too. It's like I said, it's barely good bad, but I would give it the good bad. I had a lot of fun watching it. If you want, you could support us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/GBorBB.
There you get access to our entire backlog of our podcasts that we rarely do.
Which we need to, holy shit, I just remember we can't do it tonight, but we will do it soon.
Yes.
Episode's coming. But we did just release at the $5 level, Good, Bad, or Bad, Broken Dreams. Because you're only allowed to make fun of movies if you've done it yourself and suck at it.
Here, this guy.
We both have, so that's how we feel. Okay, you laughing at everybody else.
You can look through our entire catalog of films that we thought were going to be beautiful pieces of art and turned out to be absolute trash.
Yes. Or at least somewhere on that trash spectrum. But the first part of Kyle's feature-length film, Pseudos, is out. You can watch the whole thing. Patrons have access to watching the whole thing. And then our commentary and discussion on it, the first 20 minutes of the movie are out. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. I'll put a little clip in right here.
Yep. You're not even at the best part yet.
So I went stupid. Get a little taste of it.
I don't know which part it was. Probably the part where you pissed off a college professor.
Oh, right.
If not, then look forward to that. But yeah, that's Good, Bad, or Bad, Broken Dreams. We also still have t-shirts available. Anyways, also, I host a podcast called This Film Is Lit, where me and my girlfriend talk about films that are based on books. Our next episode that will be out when this is out is A Wrinkle in Time. First one of things in theaters. Yeah, I know. Supposedly that's not great, but we're gonna go see it this weekend and we'll see.
Not gonna lie, the trailers did not do it.
I was very confused by the trailers. Katie said it's a pretty good book, but she doesn't remember. She hadn't read it since she was a little kid, so we'll see. But that's the next one. Our last episode was The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which, spoilers, if you haven't seen that movie, it's not very good. It's basically, if you want to watch that movie, just watch Forrest Gump. much better.
Yes.
And basically the same film. I believe that's all we have for now. Until next time, keep watching movies.
If you want to, college kickboxers. College kickboxers.
Yep, that's actually what it's called.
It's an option for you.